Welcome. Have you ever wanted to make more money with your website? Today, I'm going to share with you the top tweaks you can make to your website to book more clients and make more sales, or in this case today, make more donations. And we are going to do it live. Hi, I'm Jenny Belanger of Jenny B Designs, a website design studio. I want to help you ditch that website overwhelm and get a gorgeous new website that books you clients and makes you money stress-free. So today I'm here for our website Hotseat. This monthly series will feature you and your website, and I will be joined by guests who bring expertise to help with the website on the hot seat. This series is free, and I invite you to apply. My next event will be at the end of this month, so if you want more details, just head over to my website and click freebies. So today, my guest expert is Bernadette Mack. Bern is a career nonprofit leader turned consultant who specializes in email marketing, communications, and writing for fundraising. Welcome, Bern.
Thanks, Jenny. Hi, it's great to be here with you. I'm excited.
Me too. Okay, so our first website is New Dawn Art Center, and Abigail isn't with us live, but she is watching us. So I'm going to jump right in and share my screen, and we will get going with some thoughts and ideas. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So what I asked Abigail when she applied was what the main goal of her website was. And she answered to have people sign up for classes and events. And when asked what she was struggling with the most, she mentioned branding. So I pulled up the website right here, and first of all, New Dawn Art Center is a brand new nonprofit, and Abigail made this website herself. And I want to just say that you have done a wonderful job getting an online presence up there. Like, you're not a website designer, and yet you still got this up. So you should be proud of actually having an online presence. When we talk a little bit about branding, and this applies for new nonprofits or maybe a new business that you have, sometimes you don't really have the investment to put into having the branding done for you. I see we're on Squarespace, and I'm not sure if you're using a template or not. Sometimes when you select a template, you are able to choose color palettes that you can work with. As I was kind of going through your website, I noticed that there are a bunch of different colors, and I didn't know if it was something that you had picked because you really like those colors for your brand, if it was something that just came to your template with your template. I wanted to share a couple of things that you could do if you needed a little bit of help with branding, selecting colors or a logo. There are two ways that you could go about this. On Etsy, if you search brand board or brand kit, there are sellers on there who create brand kits that you can just buy inexpensively that come with a beautiful color palette and a logo that you could modify to make your own. Or if you wanted to scroll through some colors and see what really popped for you, there's a great website called Colors, COOLORS.co, or on Instagram, colors.cafe. And a logo. Ooh, there's a little feedback, I'll get rid of that. And those are two ways that you could get some colors that you could incorporate into your website and use with the theme. So when I come to your website, this is called the hero. This is your prime real estate. It says, welcome to New Dawn Art Center. Bert is going to talk to the copy, but what I would love to see is a photo of people doing art or something that represents your organization and draws people in. That would be something that would really pop and capture people's attention. And then right here, you have a call to action, which is actually great. Explore programs. I think that you're on the right track. And this is whatever your focus is. I think you're still working on this page, but whatever your main goal of the website is, your call to action on that hero should be directing people to that. The next section, okay, you have 3 blocks. And as I'm reading it, it looks like 2 pertain to the services you offer, and 1 maybe pertains to what you are in a sense, or talking about the organization, or maybe why. I would suggest moving this out of the boxes and having your boxes just be the 2 ways that people can get involved or work with you. And donate should be one of these. So you have your courses and workshops, your public arts and free events, and it would list to the events, and then maybe donate, get involved, volunteer. So like 3 main calls to action for your website. That would be what I would recommend right here with links. So right now they don't have a link to get to the courses and workshops from here. So I would make sure that there is a button or the image is clickable right there. And then I think right here, you're starting to maybe talk about the events or programs. I know this is a work in progress, but it could be nice to talk about one of the events that you have coming up or one of the programs, really highlight it and then bring people to the programs page so they get a sense of what you offer. And then at the bottom, I actually like how you have this separated out. I know when I click it, these are still being built out, but I actually really like how you've identified little kid, big kid, all the different classes. Up here, under classes, when you get to this page, it would be really nice if you could do the same thing and break it out. I'm not sure how many classes you're intending on having, but break it out that way because I think that's a really great idea. All right, now up here, let's talk about the structure of your page. Let me grab my notes. I would suggest 2 things. You want people to donate to your nonprofit. And the main call to action is in the upper right-hand corner. I would suggest the main thing that you want to do, whether it's to donate or for someone to sign up for classes, is in the upper right-hand corner with a button. I also would suggest moving these icons down to the footer. What you don't want someone to do is land on your page and then jump to Facebook and leave your website. So in the right-hand corner, I would have a button with your main call to action, be it donate or sign up for classes. And I also would suggest, if you are able to do a beautiful picture of people doing art, maybe at the top, if you add a notification bar, if there is like a time-sensitive event, I noticed that you had a lot of events that had passed, but you had some in December. I would maybe put a little notification bar up the top talking about your next event and attracting people to that event to sign up. That would be another way to capture their attention. And I think, making those changes to the home page would really help direct your visitor on their journey throughout your site. If you do have any testimonials, that would also be a great thing to add to the homepage, maybe a photo and a testimonial of one of your participants, someone who's come to an event or taken a class. That would also add some credibility to your website. And that would make the homepage flow a little bit better. One other thing I wanted to mention was that you do ask for contact information on the contact page. And because of that, you are required to have a privacy policy. It is easy to get online. There are a bunch of templates that you can find, but be sure you add something like that to your footer so that people just understand that you take their privacy seriously. So I think those would be my main recommendations. Oh, one more thing, and I'm sure Bern is going to touch on this. Talking about you, the organization on the homepage. So having a photo of you and why you started this organization, or the organization story, or something like that, giving a face to the organization. I think that is also needed on the homepage. All right, so that was kind of my review. I'm going to hand it over to you, Bern, and I'll let you go.
Awesome. Those were such great tips, Jenny.
Good.
It's, I don't know, I'm learning things. To you too. So I want to be able to share my screen, and can you see me or? Oh, here we go. All right. So I'm going to share. I think you have to enable me to share my screen.
I think I just did. Try one more
Okay.
time, see if it works.
Okay, perfect. I have to find the right screen. All right, let's see. There's our Facebook page. I'm gonna go here. I just put together a little bit of a slideshow so that I could share the notes with you all after this. so you don't have to worry about missing anything. But before I get started with that, I want to just say that, as Jenny said, I'm a career nonprofit person, and I have served all different types of organizations for more than 20 years. And because of that, I really know what a lot of you are going through and all the challenges involved in running nonprofits. And so the information that you hear today is probably going to fall into one of two categories. It's going to be like, oh, that's new information, or I never thought of it that way, or we totally already know that, but we just haven't done it for 7,000 good reasons. So I know that a lot of this stuff you might already understand and know, but just haven't been able to implement it in the right ways. And so I'm coming at it from that point of view of like, there's a lot happening. And so I'm trying to give you some quick ways to think about reorganizing the information you have on your page and how to say it more clearly. So with New Dawn, as we just saw, I want to exit this. How do I do that? Sorry. As we just saw, so do you see my screen?
No, it's not being shared if you want to try again.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's try that. Now do you see?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. So as we noted, this site is new. Everything is coming together, you're building. And we even have language about that on here, but now you're going to take some of these tips and you're going to make the changes. And so the first thing I'd like to see is for some of that, pardon our mess kind of language just to go away and really take advantage of this, this front space to build some awareness, because I think that's probably one of your biggest objectives with this site, is to just let people know that you exist and what types of programs and offerings you have. So you really want to help you use the language that you have here to build awareness. And so you should add a paragraph here about who you are. Just state it. You're going to do some great design things and make it look visually more appealing, but also put in a paragraph of words that tell exactly what you're doing, who you are. And so on my little presentation, I have an example here. So you can take something like this and just explain quickly and easily what your organization is, so that they can get an idea right away as soon as they read that page. Then you also have a tagline. And so I want to talk about this because taglines are great. They really help ideas stay in people's minds, and they can also help really explain what you do in a super succinct way. So your tagline that you have here is educate, explore, evolve creatively. And all of those are great words. But they're all talking from a different perspective. So the organization is educating. For explore, that's probably something you want the people who come to you to do. Also evolve. And then creatively is a different word altogether than the other three. So think about who's the target of your tagline, who's the subject of it. If it's you, then you state what you're going to do. You're going to educate, you're going to encourage, and you're going to inspire. Or if you want the subject to be about the person who's visiting or who might get involved with you, then you want them to explore, create, and evolve, or whatever words you decide on. But just notice that these are focused on the person and not on the organization instead. If you're talking about what you and other people will do together, then maybe you can have words like exploring, creating, and evolving together. So it's talking about what you plan to do, with your audience. So those are some decisions to make, but you can improve the impact of those words by making sure that they're in alignment with each other and that you're talking to the same subject the entire time. So then with your tabs, I think naming your tabs is really important. And so having a section about, our story, and then a section for our programs and events, and maybe having other pages underneath these tabs, and then participate and give, because you want people to learn about who you are, see your events, and either register or give you some money to help grow your organization. So those are your main objectives. And one other thing I want to add here too is that because you're at the state you're at in your organization, this website can also be a great way to start collecting information about the people who might be interested in you in the future. So if you can figure out a way to collect email addresses by either having an opt-in form, giving some sort of a freebie on your website or something like that, you can start to collect email addresses so that you can start contacting people who are most likely to want to come to your programs in the future. And so this is going to be an important tool for you to be able to try to collect that information. So you can think about it that way, collecting registrations and donations, but then also collecting information and letting people opt in and find out more about you as things become available. So, and then we get to the story page. And if I go to your website, this needs to get out of the way. Right. Nope. Right. I can't get to that because of there we go. All right. Sorry. Our story page. So here is this page, which is really important, but it says our story, but really this is not a story. You're just telling us about your tax status and also a description of the building, which could, be part of your story. But really what you want to be able to do here is talk about the story of you, how, who created this center and why, what are they like as a person? How did they get the vision for this center? What did they have to do in order to make this all come together? And just really painting a picture of what you hope for the future of this organization to be and what it should mean to the community. And just really spell that out in a story narrative format. And then maybe you'll, even at the bottom of that, have a button or something that says, support our mission. So you've taken them along the journey of how you've come to this spot, and now you're going to ask them to support you in your mission. So that could be a choice that you make, and then it would take them over to the giving page. And so moving on to that giving page, let's see what we have here. And then add a formal mission and vision statement, as it says here. And I have a little example for you for that. So right now, your current mission statement is here. And sometimes it takes a lot of work to come up with a really impactful mission statement, but I just wanted to give you an example of what one could look like if it's basically the same as yours, but cleaned up a bit. And so it makes it a little bit more easier to understand. So we're going to change it to like the mission of New Dawn Arts Center is to enliven and unite our community through arts education, appreciation, and practice. And if you read that against what you have currently, it's a lot more succinct and easier for people to get, okay, that's their point. And taking out things like ink and whatever is helpful too, because that's important to you in your business dealings, but it's not really important to them. I have a mission and vision and values workbook that you can use to really go through this step by step. You can work with your team to nail down what a great mission and vision and even value statements would be for your organization. And you can go to my website to see that if you would like it. Okay, so now to the give page. If you want to, I think I would recommend that you try embedding your form onto your page. So if I'm going out here, it's taking me to this page here. And so if you can get this form, which is not too bad, it's not asking for a whole lot of information. It's a clear 5-step process. You know, it's not overly complicated for people, but if you can get that form embedded onto that page so they don't have to go away from it, that's even better. And what you really, really need here on this page, right where someone's making the contribution, is copy about why. Even if you've set it on your giving page already, and hopefully you will, you need to be able to reiterate some of the most important points right here at the place where people are making the donation.
Lauren, I'm going to let you know we're at 12:22. So if you wanted to give her a couple more points, and then we'll switch over to Wayne Theater.
Sure, yeah. See, I can talk about this stuff all day.
You have given so much value, and I can't believe you've given up. You know, you've shared these sample messaging. Like, this is incredible. So yeah, it's really great. Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah, of course. I love it. So I do only have one more slide, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Close it up. But so forgive, you'll also have this, I'll share this with you so you can look at these notes again later as we're kind of blowing through them. So use your give page to explain what donations are going to do for you, especially at this stage in your development. And you need to have more words about why someone should give to New Dawn rather than anyone else, or not at all. Like, why you, why now? Those have to be answered on your giving page. And then you have a donor list on there, which is nice, but really I would make that more prominent. You want people to see social proof that people are supporting you and that there's people behind you, and that, you know, everybody is on this winning team to create this great new center. And so either create a new page or put it as a sidebar to showcase those people who are supporting you already. And then I would take volunteer out of this section, make it its own page or spot. So I think that's it. So that was my take for some quick ways to improve some of the copy on New Dawn. And I really wish you the very best of luck as you go forward with this.
That was awesome. Thank you, Bern. And
Sure.
thank you, Abigail. I hope you're watching this recording and you got a lot of value from it. And we will send a copy of everything that we talked about today. All right. Let me, if you want to, and if you want to stop sharing your screen, and what I'm going to do is I am going to bring in everyone from the Wayne Theater. Hi, good afternoon. Who do we have? Oh, I see it says the Wayne Theater. I see Peggy entering. Hi, Peggy.
Hi, Jenny. This is Peggy from the Wayne, and Tracy, our executive director, is also here.
Oh, hi, Tracy. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. Perfect. So, and I see, oh, and Kim is there too.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, awesome. So let me, I'm going to pull up your website. And while I'm doing that, would someone like to introduce yourself, your organization, tell me a little bit about who you are, 2 sentences, and what you do?
You can go ahead, Peggy. I sent you a couple sentences.
Well, Tracy is really the official announcer of the organization since she is our executive director. But the Wayne Theater is a presenting and producing performing arts center. And we have worked hard in the 5 years that we've been open to bring economic vitality back to a depressed area of Waynesboro, Virginia. And we have made a huge difference on the face of the community as we embrace a wide variety of arts and culture to educate, engage, enrich, enlighten, and entertain our greater community.
Awesome. Okay, fantastic. Let me share my screen. I'm going to pull up your homepage. Can everyone see the homepage?
I see it coming. I can't see it yet.
Is it there? Okay.
We're
All
seeing
right.
black screen.
Oh, you're seeing a black screen. Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's try again. What about that?
Getting that, I'll say, hi, Wayne Theater.
Hi, Bernadette. What's the
Friends.
connection?
Can you see that? Can you see it now?
No.
No.
Oh, all right. Let's try another tab for you. How about we just do it all? Can you see my whole screen?
No, it says you've started screen sharing, but it's not sharing anything.
All right, maybe Bern, you can share while I kind of share my thoughts, if that's possible. Maybe you could try to pull up their website.
Oh, sure.
All right, so I'll get right down to it. So I've worked with a few theater companies, and yeah, I can see your screen, Bern. That's awesome.
Okay.
I find it's kind of challenging because you have so many things going on, and there are so many things to share. I wanted to ask before we get started, can you tell me what your main goal or goals are for the website? What are we trying to drive people to do? For example, is it to donate, or are we trying to do ticket sales? Are we trying to do membership? Are we trying to do all three? Is there one that takes priority over the other?
Tracy, let's let you, yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought this was a listening thing. So we want people to buy tickets. We are presenting, producing company, and we want them to support us. And we have a lot of real estate that's here today and gone tomorrow.
Okay, so buy tickets.
Very different than like other types of businesses.
Okay, so the main goal. So I have some suggestions, and I think there are two buckets that they fall in. The first is your overall structure and navigation that pertains to your website. And the second is some tweaks to the homepage that I think that you could make to make it a little bit more easily navigatable by your users. When I look at your website right now, I notice that you are not using any drop downs in the navigation. You have a navigation menu up at the top. And if you scroll down the homepage, you also have a secondary navigation kind of in the middle of the homepage with all those links. And when you do that, it's a little bit confusing because you're not really sure kind of what to click and where to go. I would suggest utilizing drop downs in your navigation and simplifying everything because you have a lot of options. I'm thinking of buckets that you might want to categorize everything into. And what I'm thinking is having one that's called shows and tickets or plays and events, something like that, that would have everything that pertains to the events that you're offering. It would have your schedule underneath it and your studios and shows and everything that pertains to that bucket underneath that category. Then I would suggest education or outreach, because I think that you have arts education there. And under that bucket, everything would fall under there that pertains to education. Next, I would suggest join and give. Now, this is a question, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but I noticed in your language you use support us instead of donate or give. And I didn't know if there was a reason why. To me, and Bern can probably speak to this for clarity, but join and give or donate now is more impactful than support us. You're telling people, you want them to give money. So I might suggest a big bucket called join and give. And underneath that, you have volunteer, become a member, because they're joining, donate anything that pertains to that top bucket. And then finally, I would have the about bucket. So anything about the studio, any of those miscellaneous things, you're really streamlining it. Now, I asked you your main goal and you said it was to buy tickets, but I have a feeling it might also be to donate. Those two main goals are something that should stand out in the top navigation. Right now, you have support us, which is donate, contact us in directions, and some social icons. I would suggest removing the social icons from the top of your website. You don't want people to click off. You want them to stay on your site. And then the boxes, the button, I would have two. If you have two primary goals, I would have buy tickets, which essentially leads people, I think, to your calendar page, and donate now, if those are the two goals for your website. Those stand out. They're big in buttons. And then the top navigation is streamlined. And by doing so, people can really understand how they can get involved in the organization. And it really cleans up the top navigation. You have your address and phone number also there. I do like that because you're brick and mortar. But maybe, I don't know what you're using for your website, you can move it to the upper left-hand side. So it's kind of opposite the buttons and there's not such an overload of information on the right-hand side. So people don't get overwhelmed.
I believe it's WordPress.
Okay, I don't know which theme you're using, but it might be possible to be able to move that to the other side just to clean it up. Less is more. If you leave with anything from what I'm saying today, less is more. Streamline, simplify, and direct people what to do. So that is my main comment, the navigation. Now I'm going to go into your homepage and how this kind of follows along to it. On your top hero that we're talking about here, you have a slider, a carousel. Carousels, data shows that people can't really focus on them. They slide, they have too much information. People just go right by it. They don't even read what it says. I might suggest having a static image with your main call to action, your main event that you have coming up, something really big that you're driving people to. And Bern, can you scroll down a little bit right underneath that hero? Yeah, so you have all this stuff. You have additions, digital content, calendar, and search for an event. That doesn't need to be in your hero. What that's doing is confusing people a little bit because you're giving them places to go and it just doesn't need to be in there. You need a clean image with one simple event that you're driving people to for this hero section. And when you do the reorganization of the navigation, these things will fall under the top. It's auditions, digital content probably aren't your primary goals of the website anyway, so they shouldn't be in the hero image. Going right underneath there to your events. I think it's important to have your events on the homepage because this is what you have happening. I might suggest removing all of that underneath the image and just having the image. I mean, a lot of these have the date right in the actual image. And people know when you click on the image, you're going to be taken to the event page. Simplify it, streamline it, just have the image and people can click on it and be taken to the page. Just really taking things away that you don't need. I'm going to keep scrolling, Bern, a little bit. I like how you have see the event listing and the COVID safety. A lot of people like to see that, right front and center. And then these right here. So these would be your three primary goals of the website, which I don't know, is that true? Is it to buy tickets, become a member, and to volunteer, or is it to donate? I like the simplicity. I like the icons. I might suggest having your three primary goals listed here. This menu, I already addressed. It should be taken out in the middle of your homepage and put up at the top. And then right here, so I saw the video, I saw an image and I said, oh, what is it? And I clicked the video. The video is awesome. I would have the video and then alongside of it, talk 2 sentences, and Bern can speak to this, about the arts education program and then learn more. And they find out more and they can donate on that page. I would say what the video is. The news and announcements, that's probably your blog if you have a WordPress. Can you scroll down a tiny bit, Bernadette? You have the title and the excerpt and a read more. You don't really need that if you want to clean it up and simplify a little bit. If you just had the images and the title, that would be enough. You're taking away the buttons, you're taking away the excerpts so that you can simplify. And then stay connected. So I like how you're leaving with a call to action at the bottom. If you can, I would embed your sign up form right there so you're not sending them to another location, and it's a little bit clearer that you can sign up. And I would use wording, and Bern can talk to this, but like get the latest news and offers or invitations sent to your inbox, or like something like a little bit more enticing than like get our like newsletter or event notices or something like that. And then that was pretty much it. You know, if you simplify the top navigation, when you get to the footer, you can also simplify with the same, or have some of the most visited pages linked directly at the bottom and not have them, you know, have to be dug out for the top navigation. And those are my suggestions. Doing those two things, I think, would really make it a better user experience and then drive people to where you need to go. Do you have any questions about the website? If not, I will hand it off to the design to Bernadette.
I have questions, but I want to let Tracy or Kim an opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, I have been thinking myself a lot about the idea of using drop downs at the top.
Yeah.
Where would you, but auditions are really important to us. We're a community theater and we really need people to be able to find that easily. I'm just not sure that auditions would be something you would think of under shows and tickets, education and outreach, join and give, or donate now. Do you disagree? And that's fine.
You could do get involved. You could, yeah,
Get involved.
You could do something, or I mean, if it's not high priority, let's see, where else could you put it? You could also have something on the homepage that pertains to that. Like a little, if that is one of your high priorities to get people to audition, I would have a little something about that. Yeah, I would have to think on the best to bucket, the way to bucket it, but like you need to bucket to make everything a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah, and then my other question is, what is the general consensus about pop-ups? I know people get annoyed with pop-ups, but I have had people say they don't know how to sign up for our newsletter to know what's happening. And we send out a beautiful curated weekly newsletter of everything that's going on, and they don't get it because the support us is way down there at the bottom.
Yeah, I bet. I personally don't mind pop-ups. I don't like them when they come right away. I like them maybe if you've been on a page for a length of time, or on a specific page. Maybe, you know, if someone's been on the site and on their user journey, their second page, you can have it pop up. I like them. I think they work. I think people see them and they sign up. If that is also a priority to have more people sign up to your newsletter, I would add it in your, I can't scroll, but I don't know if it's in your footer, but maybe you can have like some kind of image, or you know how you can do like a mock-up of like a freebie, some kind of image of the newsletter, if it's so fantastic, or something to draw their eye to the fact that you can sign up, and then actually embedding the form. Because when people see the form, they say, oh, I can sign up, and they're more likely to, instead of clicking that sign up to receive our weekly notices.
Okay.
I'll just add about that. I like exit intent pop-ups. So when someone goes to move away from your page, then you get a pop-up and it's sort of like, well, before you go, like, don't make sure you get our newsletter, sign up. So it's not as intrusive, and it's like, it's the last thing you want them to do before they navigate away. And sometimes you can set them so if someone's coming to your website regularly to look at events, maybe they only see it every week or 2 weeks. It's not going to show to the same person every single time when they try to leave your page, because then it can get annoying. So you can usually set timers for how often that'll show up for a person.
Yeah.
Can you set a timer so that can you drop something into their browser so that if they've already signed up, they don't see it again? Or is that not a thing?
That depends on how like your email marketing is set up, your cookies and things like that. That's like a level of sophistication So it's probably not something that you're going to introduce.
Okay, got it.
Right?
All right, ready for copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So those are really, really great design notes, because I agree, there's just so much going on here. And that's really true about the organization in general. Like there's so much really great stuff happening. So the tendency is to want to make sure you're showing all of it. And that can be really overwhelming for someone who's visiting. And so my main thoughts about the priorities for the copy on here, or the theme of your copy and how you're presenting the website, is really to prioritize. And just like in the last, for the last organization we looked at a few minutes ago, I have a little bit of a PowerPoint just so that you can take these notes and we can kind of blow through them, because as we found out in the last segment, I can talk forever about this stuff. So we'll go quickly through it, and then you can have my notes and take what you want from there. So really the theme for me on your copy is to prioritize. So figure out, maybe you can look at data of what people are coming to do at your website the most, and figure out how to make those few things seamless. And what we had talked about, like Jenny said, it's, probably buying tickets, registering for classes, and making donations. So how can you make, when people arrive there, how can you make sure that they are able to easily find the information they want, probably about shows or other events, and also get the things done that they want to do without all this extra stuff pulling them in different directions, because it really does work against you. This is sort of an example I think of that happens to a lot of websites, nonprofit or for-profit. And that is, over time, you kind of get the piecemeal effect. So you start with some information, you've got pages up there, and then something new gets created. And so there's a new tab, and then you add a photo here, and then we throw in a paragraph here. And over time, it just all kind of gets stacked up together in more of a, a kind of a piecemeal way, with all these different competing things happening, and not really like a cohesive look or pathway for someone to use the website. And so I think this is probably a great opportunity to take a step back and be like, okay, strategically, what do we need for this website to accomplish when people get here? And how can we make this as easy as possible? For something like buying tickets, that's kind of self-explanatory. People go there, they understand that they're going to probably click on a show, find the time they want to go, and buy a ticket. The sale's already done in your marketing and all of that kind of stuff. But for people to register for classes and to donate, they're going to need more information and more copy and words there to tell them why they should care and why they should be participating. And so, just like Jenny said, I think really having some drop-down tabs is going to help organize the information a little bit better. So it's easier to find what you need to find and put things in categories that make sense for people. And I think having the about section is really important. And I know a lot of places probably feel like this is a throwaway section of their website. But if someone's coming to you that's new, that's the first place they're going to go. Okay, what is this place all about? Where is it? What do they do? So really focusing on your about section and explaining to people who you are and what you're doing. And this is a way for you to really make an impression. People who come here also might be doing research about you, or you've asked them for a donation and they want to read more about you or something like that. So it's really important that you have this area really well written and clear so that they understand who you are. So, what is the Wayne Theater? What is it doing in the community? What does the future look like? And some of that information is out there, but it's not in a narrative format, and it's not in a way that kind of tells a story and brings people in. It's like snippets of different statements here and there. And then you can add your formal mission and vision statement, and just back to the I'm just trying to find where that is. Oh, about is over here. I would love for that to be over on the left-hand side. I feel like that's where people look for the about section on most websites, all the way, you know, starting out over there. So, like, if you want to have about, then the drop down would have a page for your team and, you know, the people involved, but really the front page needs to be, you know, the story of the Wayne and explaining who, you know, what's going on there. And so now, and then their mission is down here. So this is sort of like, this is sort of like the starting of a story, but I think what would be great is if there was actually a story here and then a mission statement. And if we look at this here, I'll just go back to this. So here's, I wanted to give you just like a quick type of cleanup, but a lot of times, as I said in the last segment, designing a mission or vision or even value statements that really match what you're trying to accomplish and what your strategic plan says takes time. It takes probably your whole team to work together to create something like that. But I wanted to give you just an example of something that you can easily do to clean up and make more clear what your mission is. So the mission that's here talks about, you know, the Wayne Theater Alliance, and then we're talking about the Ross Performing Arts Center and the Wayne Theater and Waynesboro. And so it's kind of like, what is this? Is this an alliance? What's Ross Performing Arts Center? Do I have to understand the difference between these things in order to understand your mission? Probably not. Like, that's for you to do in other marketing ways, whatever those distinctions are. But for someone to understand what you're doing and why you're important, they probably don't need to know that. So having this, this new version is just a simplified way to show you a different style of being able to clearly say what your mission is.
All right, I'm gonna, if you want to wrap up with one more point so I can bring in Jeremy before the hour's over.
Yeah, I only have like 5 more slides.
Well, what we can do is we can send the recording
will.
and we can send the slides over to you guys so you can see them.
Yeah. So the Studio Wayne, I think that's probably a priority for you. Again, a lot of these are bigger conversations for you to have internally about what your priorities are and what your strategic plan looks like and what you're trying to put forward. But I think that arts education is a huge part of that. And you really need to be able to explain to people why the Wayne is the best place to get arts education and what that means for everyone in words, in a way that people understand. And then you have to be able to reduce some of those distractions. Like on almost every page, there's a sidebar that has the events again. And it's really cluttering up all of the stuff that's trying to happen on each page. So I would take all of those sidebars out. You just need your events to be in one place. And so that will help people understand why Studio Wayne is important, and then to see what's available and to register, because that's what you want them to do, is register. And then same thing with giving. We can talk a million hours about the giving section, and I'll send you this. But really it's the same thing. What is the pathway? What is the most common way that someone's giving to the Wayne? And then focus on making that pathway as easy as possible and getting rid of all of the other distractions. And then providing, like, you know, for planned giving or joining the inner circle or whatever else, someone to contact. It's Peggy with her face and her phone number and her email. Contact this person to talk about these other things that you can also give, but make it easier for people to make that that general donation that they normally come there to make. And then having a story and a timeline, and that's great. And then for the rentals, just there needs to be some copy on that page, especially if that's an important way that you bring in revenue. So I'll stop there.
Okay.
That was helpful.
Yeah, that was like so helpful, Bern, especially you're working on the mission and your story. I agree. If you look at your website stats, most websites, the highest visited page is the About Us page. So it is very important. All right, we are almost done with our time. So I want to bring in one more guest, Jeremy. So I hope this was helpful to everyone at the Wayne Theater, and I will send you the recording, and I wish you the best of luck with any revisions that you do.
Thank you.
Okay.
We love the Wayne. You guys are great.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
All
stop
right.
sharing, sorry.
Okay. All right, I brought in Jeremy, but I don't know if he's still there. Jeremy, are you here? Oh, there you are.
Hi
Good to
there,
s-
how are
Hi, sorry, we're running a little bit late.
you? That's okay, thanks for having me on.
It's probably
Yeah.
my fault.
Bern could talk for hours about copy. I'm going to try to share my screen. If it doesn't work, Bernadette, I'm going to ask you to share yours so that I can
Sure.
talk a little bit. But tell me, Jeremy, like in 2 sentences, kind of who you are and what your organization does.
Yeah, so I'm Jeremy Trevette. I'm the founder and president of Art for Action. Essentially what we do is we create a lot of custom artwork, and through the proceeds of that, donations and other forms of fundraising, we channel those proceeds into supporting a variety of vetted charitable causes, organizations, etc. We do most of our work in the cancer research and patient care space, also childhood education, global health, etc. So that is essentially what we do.
Awesome. And I was looking through the artwork, and everyone is so talented on your team. So you guys do beautiful, beautiful artwork.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Can you see my screen? Can you see your website?
I cannot. I see it started sharing, but no.
All right, Bernadette, I'll have you pull it up for me.
Okay.
I first want to say, I mean, I would expect no less because you all are artists, that your
1 second.
your website is beautifully designed. You have done a really nice job with your imagery and everything like that. I think it's really, really nice.
Thank you.
Did you do it yourself?
I did do it myself, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to share a couple of tweaks. It's more about the structure and like strategy versus like the design.
Sure.
And I do have a question for you. Is the priority of your site to have people donate or to have people buy the artwork?
So I think kind of the priority, those are the two main things we want to do, obviously. Yeah. We actually have a decent donation side of the house. And so what I'd like to do more of is definitely selling some more artwork, et cetera. You know, we're going to be starting our own programs, not just supporting other organizations. And so donations will help support that side of the house very handedly and tie in with our impact. But I would love to kind of push both narratives, not just the one, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. Because when I was looking through your site and specifically on the homepage, there's a lot of mention of donate, but there isn't a lot of mention of the shop, the artwork, the store. So looking at I always get my bearings from navigation. I love, and I'm curious if Bern mentions this, check out where we are making an impact. Like, that's awesome. Like, I think that's great because you're showing where your work is, what your work is doing. I would, if I were you, streamline your navigation a little bit. So less is more. Every time you take something away, what's there is more prominent. If you could, I would remove the social media icons and put them at your footer because you don't want people to leave your website. You could also remove the login. I'm not sure if that's like for you or for a different login, but that's probably something that you could remove. The FAQs, I would have those not as the top navigation. I put it in the footer and maybe link to that when people start wondering about the FAQs, maybe on the about page, things like that. Now you have gallery, store, and volunteer. I might change something to get involved, be the top, and under that have volunteer and donate now, like ways that people can get involved, like have that top bucket.
Sure.
And then the right-hand side, the donate now, think about it. If it's to shop, I don't know if you can have two buttons with your template. If it's to shop, like, can you do a shop now and a donate now, or should you be switching that over to shop to drive people to the shop? The same goes for this hero, get involved. It's not working right now, but is it to shop? Should you say buy artwork to support the cause? And should you be driving people to the shop? Is that where you want to send people? And same for here. Like so I'm going to just talk about your design. I love that. That's like so beautiful. Bern can talk about the copy. But when we say what we do, add some calls to action there. So connect, drive them to sign up to be an artist, create, where are we driving them for that? Give back. Or should one of these be your shop, buy artwork? Or could you have shop be its own section and you have a featured piece of artwork and then you talk a little bit about the shop and you're driving people to the store, like adding another section on the homepage. And I do like the donate. As you're at the bottom of the page, you always need a call to action. So right now you're driving people to donate. Do you want to keep that? Or should you be sending people to the shop? Like, these are all things to evaluate. But I like how you're leaving people with a call to action on the bottom. And then I wanted to mention about a privacy policy. I think it's not, I can't find the page, but I think you do ask people to sign up and you might be collecting some information. It's easy to get a template online, adding a privacy policy if you are collecting information that you hold people's privacy a high standard. Oh, and testimonials. So when I was on your art page, you had some awesome testimonials. Add that to the homepage, like generate some buzz for the store. And that might be like a nice little boost and add some, you know, social proof credibility there. So I think those were kind of like some tweaks that I had, just thinking about what your main goals were for the website. Do you have any questions? Anything?
No, I think these are really helpful suggestions. We're kind of at a little bit of an inflection point where we built out a kind of a new art marketplace that may house a lot of our future artwork sales, et cetera, and kind of keeping this as the impact site with obviously linking the two. But these are, you know, wonderful suggestions that I can take irrespective of that change.
Okay. All right. Awesome. I'll hand it to you, Bern.
Hey, Jeremy, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Bernadette.
What you just said is really a great idea. Thinking about separating the two, that might be really great, but I'm gonna get cracking on the stuff I have to tell you because I tend to go over my time. So I have a little bit of a presentation just so that I could share this with you later so that if we skip anything, you can see any other notes I have. So I'm just gonna run through it. And the first thing is that I agree with Jenny and her tips are so spot on, but I also really think your design is great. It looks really nice. And where are we? Here we go. And so, you know, when I first came to the page, I was like, oh, this looks so nice. And I like your tagline here. But I do think that you could do something more with this description, because when I came to your website, I didn't understand what was going on here. And I didn't get the point of what I was supposed to do here or what I could do here. And it took me going through all of the pages and seeing everything before I put together like, oh, all right, I get it. So being able to explain right away, as soon as someone lands here, you know, what are you doing? Yeah. So that they can understand would be really helpful, I think, because no one wants to come to your website and have to like solve a mystery. Like, what is this organization? What are they doing? So your tagline is really good, but the description could really help you more. So I revised it a little bit. Something you might consider is saying something like, we sell premium original artwork and give the proceeds to vital health and human service organizations. It's like super clear to the point. This is what we do. And that might not be accurate. Like you could do, you know, whatever actually is what you're trying to do, but you see the difference in the way that I'm saying it to you, as if we're talking like, here's the real main point of what I'm trying to do here. And I think that because you are where you are in the growth of your organization and have everything develop, it's really important for you to use this website as a way to identify yourself. And I know that you said that branding is like a really big priority for you, but even more so, just giving yourself a strong identity of what exactly this is. You know, what are you doing? Why is it mattering to anyone? And then you want to be able to sell art or get a donation. So those are the three things that you need people to do. And that has to really be the priority when someone lands here. And everything else you kind of need to put in, you know, move it down to the footers or, you know, organize it in some other way so it doesn't distract people from these main objectives. And then going to your charitable impact funds. So I see that that's a way for you to show, where is the page? Okay, so that is, so, well, I'll come back to that. So where is that charitable impact?
Yeah, you could do it one of three ways: the top, the about us,
Here.
or in the middle of the page.
Got it. So I understand that once I got here, I understood what you meant by charitable impact funds, that these are the organizations or the priorities that you're funding. But I feel like that might be a difficult thing for people to understand what that means. So picking something that's a little clearer to describe those, you might want to consider that. Charitable partners, charity partners, anything that is a little bit easier for people to grasp what that is. If you don't want to use partners because you're not showcasing other organizations per se, they might change. And you're really talking about initiatives, then maybe just calling it charitable initiatives is a little bit clearer for people. And then the thing that was really important for me was understanding what the process is here. So that would really help me understand straight away what you're doing. And it, like, I had a lot of questions in my mind, like, well, why would I buy artwork when I could just give to these organizations directly and buy artwork? Like, what is the connection there? How does the artist win in that scenario? How does the community win in that scenario? Why this model? Why does this work? And so being able to give a glimpse of, like, this is our process. This is why we use this model. This is why it's, you know, an ideal situation. Here's all the good things that it does for each of the, you know, the people who are involved. And then I feel like, oh, okay, now I trust what's happening because now I understand what's behind the scenes. Like, even explaining maybe somehow how you're choosing the organizations that you choose to, or even if you don't want to explain it, but like give some sort of indication that there's a process that these organizations have been vetted, because it's all about me having trust. So yes, I might like your artwork, but I might just want to buy it. And how do I know that any of these organizations are any good or whatever? So any way that you can take that and spell it out for people, this is our mission, this is our process, and this is how you can get involved through the words that you use. So your mission and story, like there's some good stuff there to start. And I think if you could build that out, make it a little bit more personal, like who are you people that created this? And how did you get involved with each other? Like, really tell us the story. And then why did you choose to collaborate with each other? And you know, what kind of things do you guys like to do or whatever? And what do you see this becoming in the future? Why is it model that you're using? And why is it unique? And why does it work? And just really creating a story. And then also having a formal mission statement that would go along with that could be really helpful. As Jenny mentioned about testimonials, it's really great to have these, and they could be used in other places. I always fail to use them myself very well on my own website, but it would be much more impactful if your testimonials had a name with them. So like, you know, whatever the quote is, and then from Sally Smith, who commissioned artwork in 2021, or commissioned artwork with, I can't remember what his name is, one of the artists, Marty Burns in 2020. So that there's like, okay, this actually happened. And because without that, it's like another trust spot. And if you don't hit it right, then you could actually take away from the trust that people have. It's like, oh, that could be made up. Maybe his mom said that. I don't know. So, just having a little bit more around those testimonials. And then the tabs are always really important to me, and how you organize this might help people get to where you are. So here's some suggestions of wording to use for your tabs. Again, that process piece for people to understand, and then our partners, or however you want to describe those impact fund people, and then our artists, and then the gallery store. So maybe you can combine the gallery function with the store, so it's all in one place. And I only have to go one place to view all the artwork. And the way that some of them are presented, they look fabulous already. So just reorganizing some of that to make it easier for people to get in there and see that they can buy it. And then, work with us or join us, whatever kind of language you prefer or you want them to do. And then on your donation page, really writing some sort of a clear paragraph why donating to you is important, and then put it next to your donation form instead of that photo that's there. So also, I want to tell you to get rid of these exclamation points. You might have other words that say help build this foundation, because it's really vague language. Like, what are you really asking them to do? Like, help us bring, something that's more like build this foundation is not compelling to me. Like, what does that really mean? So like finding better words to say what you want them to do, and then taking out the exclamation points, and then making this copy. So bringing the copy that's down here up so that it's right next to where people are taking the action, so that they can get reinforced of why they should be supporting you is great. And turning this from a list, more of a numbered or bulleted list, to more of a narrative style, to really reinforce why the gift is important, and kind of restating some of the information that you had on your other giving pages. And then there's a lot of data that says you'll get better, higher amounts of donations and more donations if you don't have these pre-existing choices here and just have an empty box for them to write into. And I do love that you default to monthly because that's a really great thing to do. But it's easy for them to not do monthly if they don't want to, because it's right there. But I love that it goes to monthly right away. This is super clean and nice. So if you have really great copy and text over here, I think it will be a really effective donation page. Let me just see what else I have, because I know we're over time. And also, one thing, if you could get the corp out of your domain name, that would be really great. Like, I don't know if you own any other domains that are similar to yours, like just Art for Action. It might belong to somebody else, or Art for Action with a number 4. Some of those other variations, it might be a little bit easier because corp is kind of weird for, I know it's what you are technically, business wise, but for the user, they don't need that. And it might be hard for them to get to you. So I know that traffic is one of your things. And I don't know a lot about SEO, but one of the ways that you can get more traffic is if you have some sort of a blog or something where you're putting up some regular content and then backlinking to it on other places, then that might help get you up in searches. But that's a whole other ball of wax. So that's what I have to say about copy. And I hope that it wasn't too fast and a little bit helpful for you. But it looks great and awesome. So good luck with everything.
No, that's really helpful. Thank you. It sounds like right now we're giving people a puzzle and we need to give them a map. So that's kind of the
Yeah,
takeaway that I've
exactly.
got.
Perfect.
Yeah, but you've done such a nice job with your site. I just want to say that. And like,
Yeah.
these tips will just help enhance it. So yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. And
Take
thank
care.
you, Bernadette, for
Sure.
helping
Whew,
me
it's
today.
a lot of info.
All
Take
right.
care, everybody.
All right. Bye.